There are a lot of tears in the circus tent right about now. I hope you're paying attention to this. So you may recall that way back a long time ago, some of the crystal gazers said that we were going to see all of these fractures and all of this infighting among the clowns in the circus. In particular, predictions were made that many of the thieves who helped to orchestrate the joust were actually going to begin to lose faith in the whole regime. So we've definitely seen that with the CEOs of places like Walmart and Amazon. And then of course his main squeeze defected and they're now arch enemies, right? The Star Clown. But now we're also seeing just widespread defection from the circus by lots of previous supporters. And this most recent defection is all the result of these very troubling files. And of course, at the same time, we have this extreme last gasps going on, right? Where the head clown is trying to do all of these really extreme things, even more extreme things. He's been doing extreme things since the circus came to town, but now even more extreme things like taking over news channels and getting rid of the school teachers organization, Department of Education, CBS, Stephen Colbert. But this is a reaction out of desperation. So keep in mind that the circus is going to ramp things up when it sees its demise is imminent. So now we have all of these red hat pundits who are now speaking out against the head clown, speaking out against the circus. And we have the only news organization that was 100% behind this regime from the beginning for years and years. That organization has now turned against the circus. And in some recent rumors, it's a possibility that the second clown in command, the clown that wears all the eye makeup, that he might be the one actually leaking some of the files to the press. I don't know if that's true. It's just word on the street, but it's consistent with a pattern of behavior that we've seen of a lot of people with this color jumping ship. And now we got snitches. We got people who are spilling the beans, people who used to work for the Department of Juggling. And what do these jugglers have to say? They're like, well, back when we worked for the circus, we were specifically given the job of finding all the orange-nosed clown references in the files. And there were so many that there were 1,000 jugglers all working on the case. Why would they need 1,000 jugglers to comb through these files to make sure there was no mention of the head clown? Because apparently there were 3,000, sorry, is it 3,000? 3,000 mentions of the clown in these files. And also, in case you aren't believing that the assistant clown might actually be trying to bring down the whole circus, there's another rumor on the street that he was having private meetings with the head of that giant news organization that has always been pro-circus. Why would he be doing that? Now, if you can recall, in the past, there were certain crystal gazers who did say that the orange clown was a puppet for these other clowns who had their own agenda, and that's why the assistant clown was put in there, because their ultimate plan was to get rid of the head clown and bring in the assistant clown so they could try to use him to fulfill their agenda. They had this 25 clowns in 25 years agenda. And so some people are worried about that. And they're like, oh no, we don't want this, because if we lose the head clown, get the assistant clown, he's going to be worse because he's associated with the 25 clown, 25-year agenda. Oh no. Do not worry. Do not worry. Because what is happening is that they are losing all of their support. And the assistant clown, okay, makeup's cute, but he's not a popular clown. Let's just be honest. He's just not a popular clown. Nobody's actually coming to see his shows. And now there's just so many leaks. It's just the leakiest circus you ever could find. And none of the thieves stayed thick, as thieves ought to stay, because none of the thieves have honor. And so they are all fighting amongst themselves, and now all bets are off. All the secrets, all the promises, all of the I got your back, you got my back, they're all canceled now, right? As was predicted, the merchants realized that this regime wasn't really in their best interests. Tariffs, anyone? And then the leader from the vodka country also has realized things aren't really working out for him the way he thought they would when he helped orchestrate this. So when we look back at many of the original thieves, we've got the Starboy, we've got the Bozo, we've got the leaders of now I'm forgetting the names of the nicknames of the others. We've got the Russian one. We have a lot of many of the original thieves are no longer on board. And so, yeah, we've got the teal clown who's still on board. We've got the noodle clown over, abroad who's still on board. But really, a lot of the clowns, a lot of the merchants, a lot of the thieves who were collaborating at the beginning are no longer collaborating. And while you may be thinking, well, it's okay because there are still a few nefarious clowns who have these big plans to oust the head clown, bring in the eyeliner clown, and continue with their 25 clown, 25-year agenda, and so we all still have to be worried. Well, yes, we still have to be vigilant, we still have to be resisting, but we have to recognize this important crack in the firmament. We have to recognize that the move from the circus that was to the circus that will be is major and monumental. Because this new circus they're trying to build with this clown who wears eyeliner, nobody likes him. He gets booed everywhere he goes. I mean, everywhere he goes. And you might think, who cares? He's not popular, it doesn't matter. But it does matter because there needs to be a critical mass of people who are standing up and saying, we want the circus to leave town. And that mass is growing and growing, and it's ceasing to be a blue mass. It's starting to look like a purple mass because of all the defecting red circus supporters. So be happy about this. Focus on this. We have to focus on these moments where there's clear hope and where there's a clear sign that we're moving in a better direction. And then we have to harness that hope and that just excitement and use that to allow ourselves to reposition ourselves and to strategize and to plan for the future. Because if you're not seeing all of this, you are not paying attention.